Welcome to my studio. I'm Artemis and I make custom dolls. Welcome to part 2 of Ariel Red Carpet. Today I'm going to focus on the live action interpretation of Ariel portrayed in the film by Halle Baliey. And to keep the attire a little bit different between my Ariels, I'm going to be focusing her outfit more on Ariel's new tail. It is gorgeous, the layers, the shimmer. I love everything about it. So without further ado, let's get started. First, a little recap of what we're working with for this project. This project, I swear, must have been cursed or something. It was just all of the things that could go wrong on any project that I was working on decided to all be fine and just happen with this doll. I ended up with a broken neck peg. I tried to fix it, failed miserably, and then bought a replacement body which didn't have the neck articulation that I wanted, so I attempted to articulate it and actually ended up making it worse than the broken neck peg that I had, so I finally settled and just bought a brand new Sunny doll. Then I hit bumps with her hair, the yarn didn't look right, the next yarn I tried disintegrated, and the new stuff wasn't the right color. So I'm not letting this project defeat me, and I'm simply making live action Ariel a little bit more of a redhead. But before I get into her face, let's go through her outfit. I'm going to sort of breeze through it as her skirt is actually going to be uploaded soon as a bonus video where I go through how to make a pattern from nothing and turn it into a piece of doll clothing. So here I'll show you how I made her top and shoes, which honestly were kind of my favorite part anyway. For her top, I want to base the design off of this top that Miss Baliey wore to a red carpet event. I think that paired with the idea of Ariel's shell bra will look incredible. For her skirt, I saw this picture on Pinterest and thought that the frills of the skirt and the high-low vibe were like perfect mermaid tail without being a mermaid skirt, which, side note, I hate. I started by making a literal tube top and then pinching in the center front and a little bit under the arms with a couple of stitches so that it fit the doll a little nicer. It's going to be covered, so I did this pretty messily. I also made bias strips to use as straps, and good golly are these things fiddly to work with at this size. So I attached them off camera. In order to cover the base garment now, I need to gather the front of a pleated piece of fabric that I made to simulate that shell texture. But again, it's pretty fiddly, so I'm going to do a lot more of it off camera. On to shoes. So I didn't have a whole lot of options in my stock that said Ariel or beachy, so I decided to alter this silver pair. First, I sand down all of the texture on the toe strap, toe band. Well, it's the only band or strap on the shoe, so that's the one that I sanded. Once I sanded that down, it was pretty rough, so I decided to go over it with a layer of UV resin so that I could further sand it smooth. I then decided to paint the shoes a pale purple to tie back into her top without distracting from her skirt. And this is where I decided that the shoes were just too plain, which meant that the UV resin layer ended up kind of being a waste of time as I added star beads, which completely cover the texture of the strap. I did paint little dots on them so that they looked like little starfish, but somehow this footage is missing.
Coincidence? I think not!
Well, at least we can now finally get to her face. Please don't judge me too harshly. I'm using a stencil that I made for her eyebrows as this face up is actually attempt number 4. I don't know what it's been about this week. I just couldn't get cousin eyebrows. Forget about even trying to have sister eyebrows. At least with the stencil, I can make sure that the places generally match, and I know that the eyebrows will match. And honestly, it worked out so well, I might do this for the rest of my customs. It's just a little bit less stress, you know? I did have to do a little bit of color correcting as the Sunny came a little bit stained from her glitter eyeshadow. So instead of putting down a white base to get the colors more vibrant, I actually started with a mint green. I also covered a little dark spot on her nose with a little bit of orange to help hide that as well. For Ariel's makeup, I was heavily inspired by Halle's red carpet looks, which are generally fairly minimal and sometimes include a bold red lip. For most of the dolls in this series, I don't plan on basing them extremely off of actresses or the character and their portrayal perfectly. Instead, I just kind of want the doll to exude that character. But Halle Baliey has some of the most adorable beauty spots I've ever seen, so I had to add them to this doll. For this doll, I definitely stuck with the neutrals, but of course had to add some shimmer. I did layer a couple of shades of red and brown to get her eyebrows to match somewhat well with the color of the hair that she's got. And I may have gone a little strong on the brow bone highlight, but I love it. I did also add the highlight to the ridges on her ears, as I thought it'd be a cute touch. And I did contour with not only some browns, but also a bronze mica powder to, again, keep that little bit of magic, but not, overwhelm the face with glitter. For her lips, I was going for sort of a sheer red lip. If you look at pictures of Black women, you'll notice that their lips have sort of a natural ombre, and I think it's such a pretty feature that I kind of had to show it off with this makeup look, right? The sheer red lip that I was going for was actually kind of hard to achieve. Getting the right blend of ombre from brown at the outer corners, fading into a more pinky or orangey red in the center, took quite a few layers and some patience. I did end up mixing in a little bit of mauve mica powder to the gloss that I use at the end to kind of push forward that sheer coverage lip, but also punch it up a little bit for that red carpet look. I ended up painting her nails partially off camera, though what I did record you can't see as my hands are in the way. I decided to go with a deep purple, give it a little bit of a nod to Ursula in there, and then painted some rings on her fingers as well. I added so much glitz and glam to the last Ariel that I really felt like I needed to step this one up a little bit. So I ended up breaking into my accessories stash and basically adding as many things as I could to her without it looking busy or maybe a little kitschy. And of course, it did start raining while I was trying to work on her face, so the MSC stopped working very well. And I ended up having to turn my room into sort of a spray booth itself to finish her face. Don't worry, I did make sure that everything was as safe as possible. I wore my respirator, we had fans going, I had open windows, and we closed off the room from anybody else. With that done, I managed to sketch on her eyeliner, and then I'll go in with some paint to add those lines a little bit more vibrantly. And of course, those lower lashes can't be missing. From here on out, I will finish her off camera with some small accessories, eyelashes, and of course, do her hair. So I guess that means it's time to show you my live action inspired Ariel. She doesn't seem to bear a whole lot of resemblance to Halle Baliey since the hair is quite different and the face mold obviously is rounder than her face. But honestly, this doll is gorgeous. I'm honestly having a hard time looking away from her. I love her so much. I saw little pictures of Disney's new animated Ariel and Friends or something like that, where they added gold accessories to her hair, and of course had to steal this idea as I already had those in my stash. It's just too cute. And then of course added some flowers to her hair, kind of like the one in the animated film that she gets from Sebastian for the Under the Sea song. She looks amazing next to her animation counterpart, I think. They're so different, but honestly, they both exude such Ariel energy. I'm glad I was able to capture the essence of her mermaid and human forms so nicely. What do you think? Which Ariel is your favorite? Leave that comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, if you haven't already, to boop the subscribe button and tickle the bell so that YouTube notifies you when I upload next. Leave this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time, if I can stay awake. Bye-bye!